All right, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back again for another tutorial. As always, like I always ask, comment, like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Anything to help out with the algorithm. As you can see, we've got a beat breakdown today. Today we are going to break down this beat, and it's kind of like a, to me, like a Pradabagshawty or a Sk8star type beat. So we're gonna go ahead and break that down. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into FL Studio and get started, and let's see what we've got so far. All right, so we're in FL Studio, and as always, I always like to label all my sounds and everything to make them appropriate based off of what the sounds actually are. But let's go ahead and hop into this first sound. So let's go into pattern mode here, and let's move this. Let's hear what this first pattern. This is my main melody. Let's see what we got. Now, following that main melody, we've got the background noise, which I just layered it. If you guys stick around to the end and everything, I'll go over all of the sounds as well. So if you want to see all the VSTs and the sounds that I use, and even go through the piano roll, stick around for the end of the video for that. This is our third sound. Threw a bell in there. And then our last and final sound is an arc. All right, so once you got all of your melodies in there, like I always do about like 4 or 5 melodies. We're going to go straight into the instruments. Clap. Nothing fancy there. Hi-hat pattern. Snare 1. Snare number 3. Then the breath sound I always use. Then our 808 pattern. Now that you got all your melodies all together into one pattern, you split them up, lay them out in the arrangement screen, in the playlist screen, and this is what you got. So let's go ahead and run through this one time. And as always, if you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe, show some love. As always, like I say, comment, like, share, subscribe. As always, if you haven't already, show some love to the video, and we'll keep on going from here. So let's hear what this thing sounds like all together.
It's a malign beat. Capture.
it short, sweet, and simple. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I've said before, follow, like, comment, share, subscribe, show some love to the channel. That way the algorithm works in my favor and the YouTube guys start to bless me. So yeah, that's how I would make a Pradabagshawty Sk8star type of beat. Definitely kind of gives me that vibe, that kind of fun, kind of airy, euphoric type of vibe, kind of trippy, kind of, you know, weird sounding, with some hard hitting 808s. That's basically how you want to make their style of stuff. So yeah, that, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll be back next week. And if you stuck around this long, as I promised, I'll run through my full, like, setup of everything that I've done. So let's go back into pattern mode. The first melody that I got is through Expand. It's called times 2. Just like a little simple, I think this is an ARP. Yep, simple ARP, and then it's in there. Right, then the next sound for my background sound is also Expand, shimmering pad. That's in soft pads. I think all of these are going to be Expand. Then I got another ARP and Expand, soft ARP, and that is in ARPed Zings. That's what that one's called. Then our bells, also in Expand, detuned bells. That's under the bells, obviously. Detuned wave bells. There you go. And then the last and final sound is another ARP, chimes bells arpeggio, and that's in simple ARPs as well. If you notice, like I've always said, like I use a lot of moving type of sounds, very simple melodies, but moving sounds. I use a lot of ARPs, sequences, pulsating sounds, things of that nature, and just get a pretty unique starting melody. Like I started this melody off with a piano and then just begin to switch things out like that. But those are the VSTs that I use. We can kind of go in here and take a look at the actual melody that I built. Oh, if it'll actually show. Oh yeah, that's right. You gotta actually be on here. So the actual melody that I built is this here. Where's the thing? There it is. This is what the actual melody looks like. I'm pretty sure I started off with just this chord here, and I actually think it was, oh yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. I think I actually just used this chord right here, and then I added this extra note and then moved it up 1 octave, and then just kind of started adding stuff in between. As you can see up here, everything is the same, except I kind of changed it a little bit towards the end, so it gives a little bit more variation. The background noise, which I got to go back and switch to it, is the exact same thing, just copied and pasted. I think it might be 1 octave lower, right? Then in the ARPs, we just piggybacked off of those melodies and a couple of those little chords, and that's it. Double stack some stuff, put those in there like that. Then for the bells, I wanted the bells to kind of kick in a little bit later. Again, as you can see, these 4 bars are different from these 4 bars, but still similar enough to where they still sound like each other, right? But just slightly different. And then you've got your last and final melody, which was an ARP, which is just me copy and pasting the previous pattern. But once I copied it and I moved it all the way over to let it start off at the 1 bar rather than it starting off at like this 2 bar, I believe, and then stretched everything out so it plays a little bit longer, and that's it. But if you notice, if you really take a look, deep dive into this, I used 1 melody, then copied it, so we're still at 1 melody. Then I made a second melody, but I piggybacked off of these melodies, so we're at 1 and with 2 melodies. Then I have a third melody that I piggybacked off of these melodies here to create the third melody, and then the fourth melody is just the same thing copied. So I really only ended up making 3 melodies, and then out of the 3 melodies, 2 of them I piggybacked off of the first one. So it all starts with your first melody. If your first melody is something that's really ear catching and can really snatch like the listener's attention good, use that, build off of it, and create your other melodies. Copy and paste some of the melodies as well, because again, like I always say, there's no right or wrong way to do this stuff. And that's how I created this beat. Throw in your regular instruments like you normally would. And there's nothing special and spectacular about those. As long as you put them in the same general area, it's all going to sound the same and sound good. And that's it, guys. For those that always ask what I put on my mixer, for my melodies, I put all this stuff on my melody. I took halftime off. I didn't like it. But just fruity delay, the convolver, and just a simple EQ. And then for my 808, it's a simple EQ. And the parametric EQ and another parametric EQ, just like I showed you in previous videos. And then we just layer this thing out. The way we structure it is 8-bar intro, 16-bar hook, a 16-bar verse with an 8-bar bridge, then back into the hook, back into the verse again, another bridge. Then we've got the hook would drop here again, which I did in fact drop the hook again, but I just made it to where it faded out in the last 8 bars. So that's like kind of like my outro there, and just slapping some tags and some drops in there and little cutouts, and that's about it, guys. So if you watched this far, I really appreciate you guys that are sticking around for the second part of the video to actually see how I do this stuff and get a little bit more in depth. I hope you guys are enjoying it and it's helping you out. Like I've said earlier in the previous parts of the videos, like, comment, share, subscribe. And that's all I got for you guys. We'll be back next week. Peace.